What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chart Request Live. I am Sam Gatlin, an analyst at All Star Charts, and today I am joined by my very esteemed colleague and co-host, Mr. Ricardo Saraf. What's going on, Rick?
How you doing, man? How's it going
Doing
over in
well.
Greece?
Doing well. It's everything's well here. I am heading out of Greece at the end of this week, early Saturday morning. So
That.
if anybody has any book recommendations, drop them in the chat. I would very much appreciate that. I'm looking for books to read on the airplane. It's like a 16-hour flight home, so it's going to
Jesus
be
Christ.
brutal. And I'm going to Baltimore when I first get back to the States. And based on the current weather forecast, it's going to be dumping snow when I land there. So not really looking forward to it. I
Yeah,
like this
that's
Mediterranean weather.
yeah, that's quite the contrast right there. We call that contrast dispersion, even.
Yes, yes, for sure. Well, everybody, thank you for being here. As always, this is Chart Request Live, where you provide the tickers and we provide the charts. So if you have any tickers, go ahead and drop them in the YouTube chat. I see we already have some action there, so appreciate you guys being here. But first, Rick, let's get into the mailbag. Talk
Good.
about. Some tickers that people were wanting to look at. And as always, we give preference to the people who email us questions at Stock Market Media with their tickers. And then after that, we get over to the YouTube channel. So the first one comes from Jeff looking at Dollarama on the TSX.
What's the
Uh,
ticker for that?
so I think we could look at the OTC version of it, which is DLMAF. I think most of our audience is uh, US investors, so I think this would be more interesting to them. But yeah, nonetheless, it doesn't matter where you look at it on the TSX, the OTC markets. This chart looks amazing. So shout out to Jeff. Good eye.
Yeah, I mean, by the name, it would suggest that it's some sort of Canadian Dollar Tree or Dollar General, but it doesn't look like those charts, so it's probably something different, right? I mean, just kind of going by looks purely.
Totally. Looks nothing at all like Dollar General.
Um, yeah,
By
I
the
mean,
way, the dollar stores, I'm not sure if the Dollarama is reporting this week, but Dollar General and Dollar Tree are both scheduled to report this week. It looks like
um,
Dollarama reports in 10 days on Thursday, December 11th.
I mean, listen, that's a beautiful looking chart on on a structural level. I mean, this uptrend is as good as it's going to get, and this is priced in dollars. This is the OTC, and we can take a look at the TSX listed version of this stock, which is the primary listing, in a second. But if we zoom in, and again, you can see it's a little bit liquid, a little thin. So
Flip it
some
to a line
sessions,
chart, Rick.
yeah, some sessions you might not even get a fill on this OTC, frankly, by the looks of this. But looking at a line chart, there's a key level right there on a more tactical time frame. We looked at the structural fib levels now. Call it 143.25, something like that. That's a clean level for bulls in the shorter time frames. I like that. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, totally. That's very tradable. And this is, yeah, very much relative strength inside of retail. If you look at something like the XRT, this Dollarama looks a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I want to
Not
take
to
a look at
say
this
that
in unit.
XRT looks bad, like it looks very constructive actually.
Yeah, the XRT, see, I already have it fibbed out, but key level right there, 61.8 fib, kind of failed to break out above this level. I mean, a lot of charts looked like this. Then last week, he just got an incredible thrust off of those lows. And I mean, that's the kind of action that bulls need in the short term, but also in the midterm and ultimately in the longer term time frames as well. If these tops, completed, could have gotten a lot uglier. Right now, it seems like they're failing, and we know that that's a very powerful pattern right there. So above 85.50 XRT, I think the risk is back in favor of the bulls. But yeah, let's look at this Dollarama on the TSX. this is even, I mean, again, the structural uptrend is as good as it's going to get, really. This almost
Totally. Yeah.
reminds me
It
of,
doesn't have bear markets.
yeah, this almost reminds me of like a Cintas. So some of
It
those
looks
like,
like Casey's General Stores.
yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, it kind of does. Let me see. Cintas. Um, yeah, it's like one of those low volatility compounders. It just kind of goes up and up and up and up.
They just print cash.
Exactly, but we can actually fib out this level. This is again priced in Canadian dollars because this is the Toronto Stock Exchange, and the fib levels are slightly different than the OTC, in which that makes sense. And you get a big level right there, 208 on the Canadian. Above 208, the risk is to the upside. Target 318 if we're looking at these fibs, and if we zoom in, something similar to that level we saw in the OTC that Sam was pointing out earlier, but this time it's 196.50. But I think that's enough of Canadian listed stocks as much as
Hey, I wish we could get more Canadian listed precious metal stocks.
oh man, there's
I
there's
don't
some,
have any problem with the retail, but the rocks are really interesting to me right now. All right, Rick, next chart we have is AMR, the Alpha Medical Resources.
yeah, cold
And this
stock.
comes from Chris. Says he has a medium-sized position acquired in the 150 range, looking to hold a couple of years. Says he was bowled up on it until he saw Sam post some toppy-looking charts on the name.
Oh, I know what chart he's talking about, and I have my thoughts on that chart. But
Hey, I was just pointing out an observation. It
listen,
probably is not a giant head and shoulders top, but like that's how you have to think about things.
yeah, I mean, let's not forget that off of the COVID lows, that this did a ridiculous, 23,000%.
It was the biggest winner post-COVID,
Yeah,
contrary to popular belief. Everybody was talking about the stay-at-home stocks, the Pelotons, the
dude.
Zoom. This was orders of magnitude better than
It
that.
was a little coking coal stock, you know. So yeah, let's fib this out. Let's see what we come up with. Let's take this. Let's first do some extensions, then we can work with some retracements later on. But I mean, again, right now you're in kind of a no man's land situation between 128 and 208 or 207 as far as long-term Fibonacci extensions. But if you can also just use levels that the market has told you are important, right? So we have this. You said 150 range, Sam. Was
That's
that?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, this level right here, around 180, call it 180, but it's got a little bit of give. This is a pretty important level for bulls, right? That was the
Totally. And just like looking at coal stocks, Rick, like, maybe this one's not a giant head and shoulders top and it's not going to crash and go to zero. Okay. But, it's not the relative strength inside of coal. This is not the name I want to own. I want to own something that looks more like Warrior Met Coal, HCC,
oh
or
yeah, there's better looking names for
BTU.
sure. There's
Like this one has been a major laggard over the past few years. Granted, you have to remember the context of where it has come from. Like Rick mentioned, like that 25,000% rally off the COVID lows, but
Yeah, that's ridiculous right there. I mean, assuming you bought at the exact bottom and sold at the exact top, right? But again, going back to these levels, the bulls have to hold this anchored VWAP from the recent lows right there that's coming in at around 145, 144. And again, a breakout above 180 would have to get confirmation above this VWAP right here that's anchored to the all-time highs. And again, you can see that rally attempts thereafter were all capped by this anchored VWAP. So again, it's kind of in no man's land. You can really zoom in and get more of a tactical look, but I want to think about this more structurally just because, like Sam said, the context here, it's very important. And again, you were mentioning a Warrior Met Coal. That's HCC. No, that's not. What's the ticker for Warrior Met Coal?
It's HCC. Yeah, you have the right one, just the wrong exchange
Oh,
there. That's the
oh,
yeah.
yeah. I hate when they do that. It's the worst when
Yeah,
they do that with the DJT instead of doing the Dow Transports. They do the
totally.
that media company owned by the
These are
press,
the problems we have, folks.
right? I mean, this is a clean level right here if you're looking for
Yeah.
coal exposure. That
Looks
retest
like it
right
has
there.
$100 roll call.
Listen, man, that retest right there, that's his textbook because it's gonna get you gotta you can zoom in even. Let's see, let's zoom in. You got a gap right there. And that
Yeah,
gap
this
didn't
looks
get
great.
filled, right? This gap didn't get filled. At least not fully, but again, we'll treat it as a breakaway gap until proven otherwise. And it's happening right at the 261.8 fib. Nice call out, Sam. This is a beautiful looking chart.
Totally, yeah. This is what has my attention inside of coal, not something like AMR. Because coal, it certainly is a bifurcated market right now. You have some charts that look amazing, like the Warrior Met Coal, but AMR just doesn't look that interesting right now.
Yeah, I'll
It's
have to
range
agree
bound.
with you on that. And on a, you know, if you want to just really zoom in, get all tactical, we can anchor a VWAP right here.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
I
Bumping
mean,
into it today.
yeah, you get a little daily close, maybe a weekly close, depending on who you are and how you trade above this little VWAP, and it can be go time, a little bit of a confirmation of this breakout if you need it anymore after this retest. And, you're not running like a 3% Edward and McGee rule or,
Cool. All right, Rick, let's
yeah.
move on. Thank you, Chris, for that chart. Next up is Jonathan. Wants to look at AXS over long time frames. Says he's up 45% in the stock, which should factor into the decision. Stop is at $89, which is the 161.8 extension of the 919 highs to the 320 lows. Would you hold the position looking for a higher high breakout on the weekly? Interesting. Thank you for the context, Jonathan.
Yeah, and again, this is insurance reassurance, which has been a very interesting theme. I know you've been pointing out the insurance stocks lately, Sam. And I mean, just zooming in, what does this look like? This looks like a lot of stuff that we've been looking at for the past 2, 3 weeks. It's a clear distribution pattern, right? Where they somewhat defined, or defined breakdown level. Let's look at daily closes. And right now it's looking like the pattern is failing. Like the distribution pattern is failing. That is just jetting higher. That is,
Yeah, you got like 10 consecutive up days there.
yep.
Wow,
And if
very
you,
impressive.
yeah, if you want to draw this as, a head and shoulder situation, you're already above this right shoulder. You just want to treat it as a shelf of highs. You're already above this level right here. And I think that's, tactically speaking, it's going to be a key level for the bulls to hold. You're already up, what, 45%, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And what fib levels did he mention? Because he's doing his own fibs, right? He said from the 9.
So I'm not sure what year. He said the September 19th high to the March 20 lows.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. So
must
he's
be.
fibbing out the COVID. Yeah, makes sense. Um, yeah. Let me just line this up. 1 second. Okay. So, I mean, isn't this beautiful? We're just talking about this pattern, and look at where it failed. Exactly where it had to fail. I mean,
Totally, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it wants to go higher for sure.
yeah, it really
Yeah,
does.
and you could even like move your stop up to that shelf of former highs that you have outlined there, Rick, just below
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah, protective stop, and then we can do a little bit of a VWAP work right there. I mean, that's your. I guess you could call this a even less protective. More loose stop, or you're probably already going to be above this anchored VWAP. Okay, it comes in at around the same level, 97, 98. But yeah, no, this is a good chart.
Nice. Shout out, Jonathan. Thank you for bringing that one along. Next up, final ticker from the mailbag, Ricardo, is Hanson asking about the TE with a 3 month
Oh,
time
that's a
frame.
battery stock. This used to trade under the, oh man, really
This
getting
looks like a $1 billion stock.
it's a sub $1 billion stock, my
Sub
friend.
1 billion. Okay.
This is
We're getting
microcap
junky today.
territory. Oh, by a hair, by a very
Yeah, yeah.
tiny hair.
15 million away.
Oh man, let me tell you something about this company. We're not fundamental analysts here. We're chartists, we're technicians. And this used to be, but I know a little bit about this company. It used to be called Freight Battery. I remember because I had it on one of my watch lists for speculative growth, speculative momentum, beta, whatever you want to call that, barter trade. And the ticker disappeared. I was like, oh man, who acquired Frey? And couldn't find anything about an acquisition. I guess they just rebranded because this is Freight Battery, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that this is the artist formerly known as Freight
It's
Battery.
interesting they took battery out of their name.
Yeah, and I mean, again, let me pull up I have a battery. Here we go. Yeah, so this is my equal weight battery composite. We got a bunch of familiar names in there, some names that some people might not know, and it's been one of the strongest speculative themes this year. I mean, off the April lows, you did something like 550%. And then, something that goes up 550%, you correct 50%, right? Makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
But out
Looks
of
a
all
lot like
those names,
the Bitcoin miners.
yeah, man, listen, out of all those names, T1 Energy has been one of the strongest names. It's been this and the EOS, which I know you're very much familiar with. But recently, it seems like leadership has shifted to this T1 Energy. And I have all my super deep, not very loved fib levels right there. So I'm going to get rid of them, but I'm going to keep this one in there. And I think this is a pretty good level. When you agree, I mean, you've already failed right there to break out. So the market's telling you there's something there. There's sellers. It's not just something, it's sellers at that level. We can get a VWAP anchor to this all-time high, and that's it's telling the story right there. I mean, what do you think? Above 4.25, above 4.25, 4.75 gets you 7, gets you 11, gets you 17.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a setup that I would only buy on strength, Rick.
Yeah.
Right now it's just kind of in a messy range, but like if you get a decisive resolution out of this churn, then yeah, you totally could see an explosive move. You could see this stock double pretty quickly, given the way it's traded recently off those not the COVID lows, the April lows, the tariff dump lows.
Yep.
Momentum's been off the charts in the TE. So yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those speculative growth names that is just absolutely explosive. I mean, some of these names, they're micro caps, they catch a bid. They're speculative, narrative driven stocks. A lot of them don't even have revenues, or they lie about their total addressable market, but they catch a bid. It's lights out. Lights out. These things.
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't come without risk, though.
of
If a
course.
stock can double in a short amount of time, it can fall 50% in just a very short amount of time as well. So,
No, I think
yeah,
that's a
you want to be
fantastic.
very responsible with your position sizing with a name like this.
No, I think you have a fantastic point. So speaking of risks, risk to the downside, I want to anchor some VWAPs and see what it gets us. So let's just do all the major recent lows, the all-time low and the recent April, May low. April would be right here. So yeah, that's right around that's where buyers stepped in right there, which isn't surprising. But you lose these levels, and I think the risk is to the downside. But for now, this looks pretty good. This is
Totally, yeah. Yeah, shout out to battery stocks. Thank you, Hanson, for bringing that one along. Rick, you are getting some love in the chat. Bill says you are a great guest.
Oh,
Thank you, Bill. Very kind.
appreciate it, man.
All right, we have the Axe Man. The Zand Man. Excuse me.
The Sandman.
The Zand Man. Funny name. We have Ari Crypto in the chat. We have Hanson. We have Dave. We have Risky Business. What's up, everybody?
The Sandman,
Let's
like
start out with the
Metallica,
Zandman.
like
Sorry, Rick?
Metallica Sandman.
Yeah. The Zandman wants to look at a bunch of charts, so I'll read them out to you, Rick, and then
Do it.
you pick one. So we have A Lab, we have VRT, we have COHR, we have the Caterpillar, we have the Resi, and the Mod.
Cool. I mean, that's a lot of tickers, but it's lucky for us. I already had this one fibbed out, so I have the IPO decline fibbed out in the Astera Labs. Remember when this was coming out, when the IPO came out? I remember the day people were saying, "Oh, this is ARM's little brother." It was around the time where ARM was all hyped up, and pretty sure it was following the big run SMCI had earlier this cycle. So this name got a lot of buzz first couple days off the IPO, and then it just sold off. People forgot about it, but I mean, this is a clean
Yeah.
series.
And just for a reminder for everyone, this is not a biotech stock. I know lab is in the name, so
Oh
it's kind of
yeah,
misleading, but this is a $30 billion
Seven-
semiconductor stock.
exactly, exactly. Good call out, Sam. Yeah, I wouldn't even thought of clarifying that. But yeah, this is
I
just.
don't know why labs is in their name. That's very misleading. I don't like it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But yeah, right now you're in the middle of a range right here between 132 and 191. Breakout above this VWAP anchor to the all-time high. We're talking 184. You could get confirmation above 191, but I really prefer this VWAP, right? Because we know for a fact that this is the average, the price weighted average price, and people that investors are in from the all-time high onward. So above that gets you to 290. Let's move on. I could do this chart all day, but you said COHR. We did Caterpillar as well. What else was in there? There was a bunch of names in there.
Let's move on to some of the other people's requests. The Zandman brought a bunch of them, but A Lab certainly looks good. So
I mean, that's a stick right there today. Look at that, 9%.
yeah,
Even notice
totally.
that. Oh.
Yeah. All right. We have Hanson asking about ABXXF.
Oh yeah, this is a Jason Purse name right there. This is ABAC Technologies. This is a Canadian stock, and
What does it do?
Oh man, this is one of the worst trades of my career because I didn't take it. Jason was like, "Oh, dude, you got to check this stuff out. It's a commodity. It's a tokenized commodity exchange out of Canada, if I'm not mistaken. Recently crossed the 1 billion mark, and it's just been. I mean, look at this. Every time I look at this, it makes me want to vomit because I didn't take the trade, and I'm not going to chase it. I've been saying I'm not going to chase this since 12. So, goes to show this is an absolutely relentless uptrend right here. What do you think of a tokenized commodity exchange? I mean, you look at commodity stocks, commodities all the time, pretty much every day. So, love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think what I'd be most interested in is getting real-time positioning data because, the futures markets, they don't trade 24/7, but they pretty much trade 24/5. So, that's not really an issue in the commodities markets because they're trading futures. But, the COT only comes out once a week, and that is such a huge bummer. I wish I could get real-time COT data. So if they could somehow figure that out, I would very much be a fan.
Yeah, I'd love to get the live updates on dollar positioning. That would make me a very, very happy man. But
Totally, me too.
that's a great point. And if we fib this out, we're just looking. This is OTC. This trades on the Canadian maybe Ventures Exchange. Pretty sure. I mean, we'll check the Canadian one in a second, just to make sure. But just looking at closing price because OTCs can have some pretty wide-ranging days and pretty liquid. And you're coming in at 42 and a quarter. break out above that, gets you 67 and a quarter. And let's just look at an RSI. I just want to see what again, not that I'm going to base my trading decisions off of this, but you got an RSI on a weekly 14-week RSI at 92. Oh, that's pretty high. And monthly, you're currently sitting at a 91.6.
Wow.
If we looked
It's
at
like there's an overwhelming amount of demand for the
exactly,
stock.
exactly. If we looked at something like a rate of change, it would tell a pretty similar story. But that's just to say that this is pretty extended this is pretty extended. Doesn't mean it can't continue to go up. I mean, it's proven that over and over and over again. But yeah, great call out. Great name.
Totally. Shout out to Hanson for bringing that one along. All right, we have time for one more ticker, Ricardo. I will shout out a few of them for you. So Dave wants to look at ExxonMobil. We have the Jersey wanting to look at Baba. Mr. Zerby says what's up.
Welcome.
Mr. Zerby, thank you for being here. Bill wants to look at ARMN, one of my favorite precious metal stocks. Mr. Zerby wants to look at TRGP. That's a nice setup there, and an energy stock. And then the Pogo wants to see Hive. So pick your poison, Rick.
I mean, again, Armin, this is pretty simple, right, Sam? Above 14 and a quarter gets you about 22. Pretty extended, but it's been the leader. It's been one of the leaders. It's an absolutely explosive trend. Huge base, right? I mean, there's bigger bases out there, don't get me wrong. But ARMN. Let's just rapid fire two more, 30 seconds max per chart.
Baba.
Oh yeah. Baba, nice little coil in the Baba. If we, do a little volatility squeeze indicator, which is, just a Bollinger Band with a moving average crossover system overlay. This is a structural uptrend. You reversed trend a while ago, but it's been messy. It's whipsawed. It's shaky.
Yeah, this name, it consolidates in a super messy range, and then it just moons over a few weeks, and it just does that over and over and over.
Yeah.
So it's not really, it's tough to trade. It's more of like something I just want to tuck away and ride that primary trend higher.
It is, but again, they had a little earnings shakeout last week or week and a half ago, and I have my alert set at the VWAP anchor to the October highs. You can see the little alert right there. I'll get a notification when it crosses that, and it'll interest me if it does. If it doesn't, I don't want to touch it, but that's just me personally. And the last one, we can close.
ExxonMobil. Let's finish with the biggest energy stock in the United States in a big, fat, messy range.
This is the second largest energy stock on the planet, right after Saudi Aramco. And I think you got Chevron after that and PetroChina. So this is one of the most important companies on earth. I mean, just hands down. There's no way to argue against that. But let's see. On a monthly candlestick, I mean, this is as tight as it's gonna get. Really. I mean, you could get marginally tighter, but this is as tight as these patterns get. This to me is screaming continuation rather than distribution. I mean, what are we talking, like 3-year pattern at this point in the context of a absolute washout and then a historic uptrend. So this is, I mean, you've been writing about this, Jason's been writing about this, we've been on top of this theme and this cycle, but what do you think of ExxonMobil right now, Sam?
I mean, yeah, you pointed it out. It's as tight as it gets. This range, it will resolve soon. It cannot trade sideways like this forever. So, I don't know which way it's going to resolve. It could go either way. I want to follow it in either direction. I have a very strong suspicion that it's not going to break down from here. It's going to break out like all of its peers. I have an equally weighted custom index of integrated oil and gas stocks from all around the world, and it's breaking out to the highest levels since 2014. So, you can find a lot of other integrated oil and gas stocks that are breaking out, and I think ExxonMobil is going to end up looking like its peers. But, for now, there's nothing to do. It's just it's dead money, and it has been for 3 years.
Yeah, I think a breakout on strength above 118. I think that's really the level we're looking at, right?
Totally. And I don't think this is something you want to jump either, Rick. Like, once you get that breakout, like it's going to be a very explosive move higher.
That's a
You
lot
got
of
that base ripper off the COVID lows, and it's just been straight sideways. So I think the next move in this is going to be very big. And you also talked about the volatility compression, that leads to volatility expansion. And based
Yep.
on these levels, it'll be historic volatility expansion.
Yeah, and you have, all manner of momentum and trend indicators pointing out. Here we're just using a PPO, but you could just throw just about anything in there and it'll tell you the same story. This is ready to go, but it's not quite there yet. And I think a close above 118, 119, 120 could get you there. But man, I'm sad to end the session, but I think that's
Totally. We got some good charts though, Rick. Did any of them stand out to you? Do you have a favorite?
oh man.
I have a feeling you're going to say the battery stock.
I
I
think
know you, Rick. You're a battery
I
junkie.
I think I would do the ABAX Technologies if I owned it, but I don't. So it's just painful. So it's probably my least favorite one, even though it's the best one. It's just so painful that I didn't buy it when I had the chance. I could still buy that breakout. We did point that level out, but I think the TE is a pretty good chart. Still needs a lot of work, but Exxon is my favorite, Sam. How about you?
Okay. All right. Yeah. This Exxon looks sweet. I was going to say the Aris mining, the
Mm,
just precious metals in general. I
yeah.
love that trade right now. You just had a pretty historic momentum thrust in silver relative to gold. So that's one of my favorite risk appetite ratios inside of precious metals. And if that's screaming higher the way it is,
Yep. That's a
the
classic.
animal spirits are alive and well. You want to be buying the worst precious metal stocks out there because they're going to catch a bid.
Yeah, and I think the one of the most important things to point out about this Eris mining is the fact that it's already trading at new 52-week highs, whereas the something like the GDX, not quite, right? Like stuff that's already breaking out will likely lead the way higher, like something like a Barrick Gold, right? I think that's something important to keep in mind. Like
Totally. It's a great point, Rick.
yep,
Relative strength is the cheat code.
yeah,
I'm
it
into it.
really is, man. It really is.
All right, Rick. This was a good episode of Chart Request Live.
Oh,
My first time doing this with you. That was fun.
it was a
Uh,
pleasure, man.
Thank you for being here. And thank you,
Sure.
everybody else, for being here as well. Shout out to Bill, Frey Lee, Blake, Pogo, great name, Mr. Zerby, all of you, thank you for being here. We hope you will show up next week for another episode of Chart Request Live. And if we did not get to your ticker today, go ahead and send us an email, questions@stockmarketmedia.com. Drop us your tickers there, and we will put it in the mailbag for the next episode. And yeah, markets are looking good, Rick. Let's go out there and try to make some money.
Gotta go work.
Right on.
I
All
know,
right,
man.
everybody. We'll catch you later. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure, Sam.